back to Little Reads. I'm going to be continuing to read The Magic Faraway Tree. If you've been following the story so far, we have been reading this book for quite a few weeks now, and I am a dyslexic reader, so I will be making a few mistakes along the way. And if I do please mind my reading. Sometimes I tend to miss out words or replace words with other words. And when I do these things, I don't necessarily know I'm doing them. So if you do find that I'm mixing up my words, please do comment in the comments below. But we are continuing to read this book. So we have read, today we're going to be reading Some Peculiar Adventures. As you can see, we have read quite a lot so far. But let me try and find the right page for us today. We are reading chapter 21, Some Peculiar Adventures. Okay, so if you want to catch up with the story so far, please do watch the previous videos and you can catch up with the story so far. But let me carry on with this right now. Okay, Rick was enormously tall. He had bent down so that his head wouldn't touch the roof. The little people in the medicine room rushed about, yelling and screaming. "Fetch a ladder, climb it, and give him some go-away pills, quick, quick." Somebody got a ladder and leaned it against poor Rick. A pixie ran up it on light feet. He carried a box of pills. He shouted to Rick, "Open your mouth." Rick opened his mouth. The pixie meant to throw one pill inside, but in his excitement he threw a whole box, and Rick swallowed it. And at once he began to grow small again. Down he went, and down and down. He got to his own size and grinned with delight. But he didn't stop there. He went smaller and smaller and smaller. And at last he couldn't be seen. It was a terrible shock to everyone. "He's gone," said Beth in horror. "He's so small that he can't be seen. Rick, Rick, where are you?" A tiny squeak answered from under a big chair. Beth bent down and looked there. She couldn't see a thing. "Listen, Rick," she said. "I've got a pill bottle here. Come run over to me and put yourself inside it. Then we shall at least know where you are, even if you can't be seen. And maybe we can get you right if only we've got you safely somewhere. A tiny squeaking came from the pill bottle after a minute. So Beth knew that Rick had done as he had said, had been told, and got into the bottle. But she couldn't see anyone there at all. She put on the lid. She put on the lid, afraid that Rick might fall out. She stood up and stared around at the wondering little folk there. "What can we do for someone gone too small?" she said. "Haven't you got any medicine for that?" "It will have to be very specially made," said a pixie. "We can't give him the grow fast mixture because he's really too small for that. We'll have to prepare a special little bath of powerful medicine and get him to go into it. Then maybe he would grow back to his own size. But he wouldn't have meddled with our magic medicine. It's dangerous. He shouldn't have meddled with our magic medicine. It's dangerous. Rick's so silly, said Joe. He always seems to get himself and other people into trouble. I do hope we can make him right again. I wouldn't want him to live in a pill bottle all his life. We'll do our best to get him right, said the little folk. And they began to shout here and there, calling for the most peculiar things to make a bar for Rick. A whisk of mouse's tail, one cried. Squeeze of a frog, cried another. A breath of summer wind, cried a third. And as the children watched, smaller goblins came running with little boxes and tins. What peculiar things medicines are made of, said Joe. Well, let's leave them to it, shall we? I'd like to wander around this big factory for a bit. Come on, Saucepan. Saucepan was very deaf because there was such a noise around all the time. Fires were sizzling under big pots. Medicines were being poured into bottles and guzzled and splashed. Pans were being stirred with a glad clatter. Saucepan didn't hear a word that was said, and it was because of what he made his great mistake. He stopped by a goblin who was pouring a beautiful blue liquid into a little jar. It shone so brightly that it caught Saucepan's eye at once. That's lovely, he said to the goblin. What's it for? To make nose glow, said the goblin. To make a rose grow, said Saucepan in delight. Oh, I'd like some of that. If I had that, I could make roses grow on the faraway tree all around Mr. What's-his-name branch. He wouldn't like that. I said, make a nose grow, said the goblin. I heard you the first time, said Saucepan. It would be lovely to be able to grow roses. Do I have to drink it? Yes. If you want your nose to grow, said the goblin, looking at Saucepan's nose. Saucepan kept on hearing him wrong. He felt quite certain that the beautiful medicine was to make roses grow. He thought that if he drank it, he would be able to make roses grow anywhere. That would be miraculous. So he took a jar of the medicine and drank it all up before the goblin could stop him. Now I'll make roses grow out of my kettle and pans, said Saucepan, pleased. Grow, Rose, grow. But they didn't grow, of course. It was his poor old nose that grew. It suddenly shot out, long and pink, and Saucepan stared at it in surprise. The others looked at him in amazement. Saucepan, what happened to your nose? Cried Joe. It's as big as the elephant's trunk. He would drink it, said the goblin in dismay, showing the children an empty jar. I told him it would make a nose grow, but he kept on saying it will make roses grow, not noses. He's quite mad. No, he's just deaf, said Joe. Oh, old Saucepan, we'll have to tie his nose around his waist soon. It's down to his feet already. I have a cure, said the goblin with a grin. I've got a disappearing medicine. I'll just rub his nose with it till it disappears back to the right size. I think you ought to watch him a bit. If he goes about hearing things all wrong, goodness know what may happen to him. Saucepan was crying tears that rolled down his funny nose. The goblin took a box of blue ointment and began to rub the end of Saucepan's nose. It disappeared as soon as the ointment touched it. The goblin worked hard, rubbing gently all up the long nose, until there was nothing left but Saucepan's own pointy nose. Then he stopped rubbing. Cheer up, he said. It's gone, and only your own nose is left. My, did you look peculiar? I've never seen anyone drink a whole bottle of that nose medicine before. A shout came from behind the children watching children. There was a tiny boy in a pill bottle. They've got the bath ready for him now. Everyone rushed to where there was a tiny bath filled with steaming yellow water that smelled of cherries. Beth took the pill bottle from her pocket and opened it. A squealing came from the bottle at once. Rick was still there, too small to be seen. But thank goodness his voice didn't quite disappear, or the others would never have known if he was there or not. Rick, get into the bath, said Beth. You'll soon be all right then again. There came the tiny splash in the yellow water. It changed at once to pink. A squealing came from the bath, and bubbles rose to the surface. Then suddenly the children could see Rick. At first it was a tiny misty fog. Then gently the mist thickened and took the shape of a very, very small boy. He's coming back, said Joe. Look, he's getting bigger. As Rick grew bigger, the bath grew too. It was most astonishing to watch. Soon the bath was as big as a normal bath, and there stood Rick in it, his own size again, his clothes soaked with the pink water. He grinned at them through the steam. Just the same old cheerful Rick. Beth, said Beth gladly. Oh, Rick, you gave us such a fright. Step out of the bath quick, cried the pixie nearby. You're ready to be dried. Rick jumped out of the bath just in time too, for it suddenly folded itself up, grew a pair of wings, and disappeared out of a big window nearby. Dry him, cried the pixie, and threw some strange towels to the children and Moonface. They seemed to be alive, and they're very warm. They rubbed themselves all over Rick, squeezing his clothes, and as they rubbed, until a few minutes he was completely dry. But his clothes were rather curiously pink too. That can't be helped, said the pixie. That always happens. Well, I suppose I look a bit funny, but I don't mind, said Rick. Goodness, what a peculiar venture. A bit too peculiar for me, said Joe. Now, see, you don't get into any more trouble, Rick, or I'll never bring you to any strange land again. I never knew anyone like you for doing things you shouldn't. Now, look here, everyone. I vote we try get the medicine for Mother, and then go home. Then go. Fanny is waiting patiently for us to get back. I really think we'd better go before Rick or Saucepan do anything funny again. What medicine do you want? Asked the goblin kindly. What is wrong with your mother? Well, we really don't know, said Rick. She just lies in bed and looks weak and white. White and weak. And she worried dreadfully about everything. Oh, well, I should just make a bottle of get well medicine, said the goblin. That will be the thing. She sounds fine, said the goblin. It sounds fine, said Joe. The goblin poured a bubbly yellow liquid into a big bottle and gave it to Joe. He put it carefully into his pocket. Thank you, he said. Now come along, everyone. We're going. Oh, Joe, there's a medicine for making teeth pearly, said Saucepan, pulling at Joe's arm. Just let me get some. Saucepan, that's for making hair curly, said Joe. You've heard wrong again. Don't try it. Do you want curls growing down to your feet? Now take my arm and don't let go till we're safely back in the tree. If I don't look after you, you'd have a nose like an elephant, curl down to your toes, and goodness knows what else. They were not too far from the hole in the clouds, and they were soon climbing down the ladder, leaving behind them the strange land of medicine. Joe was very careful of the bottle in his pocket. Now we'll go straight home, said Joe. I'm simply longing to give dear old mother a dose of this medicine. It will be so lovely to see her looking well again, rushing around the house as she always did. Well, that's nice of them that they got the magic medicine for mother to make her well again. So poor old Rick always getting into some kind of trouble. But thankfully, they're all well and off home. Next time we'll be reading What's His Name Has Some Strange News, which is chapter 22. So we'll be reading that next time. So please do tune back next time to find out what's his name is going to be doing in that chapter. And look, I have read quite a lot of pages. As I said, I've never read this book this big before. So I'm quite proud of myself for getting through the whole book. So please do tune in next time to find out what happens to Mr. What's His Name. And please do subscribe to my channel and to find out when I upload my videos and to catch up on the story so far. So until next time, guys, stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.